Hey everyone, my name is Kevin, and welcome to Know Your Deets. Today I've got 30 incredible facts that will absolutely upgrade your day, and I'm not exaggerating. One of these facts explains how a single natural material could have helped Vikings navigate the open ocean even when the sun wasn't visible. It's wild, and you'll know it when you hear it. Let's get into it. 30 incredible facts to make your day. Blue whales don't just eat big meals, they take monumental bites. A single mouthful of krill can contain up to 500,000 calories. To put that into perspective, that's roughly what an average person eats in an entire year, swallowed in one effortless gulp by the largest animal on Earth. Right now, whether you feel it or not, your body is glowing. Humans naturally emit a faint bioluminescent light created by chemical reactions inside our cells. It's far too dim for our eyes to detect, but scientifically speaking, you are constantly radiating a soft, invisible glow. Some cut flowers can literally be kept standing tall with the same chemical used in Viagra. Small amounts of sildenafil, the active ingredient, strengthens the stem's ability to hold water, giving the flowers a noticeably longer life. If you ever want to understand the difference between a lot and an unimaginable amount, compare a million seconds to a billion. A million seconds is about 12 days. A billion seconds? Nearly 32 years. Most people picture the Sahara Desert as an endless rolling sand dunes. But that's actually the minority of its landscape. The vast majority is made up of rocky plains and gravel fields, harsh, flat, and far less photogenic than the dunes you see in the movies. Barns are famously red, but the color wasn't chosen for style. Early farmers mixed rust with linseed oil to create a cheap protective coating for wood. The mixture happened to turn the barns red, and the tradition stuck long after the original reason faded. Deep in the ocean's most remote trenches, scientists have found radioactive particles left over from Cold War nuclear tests. These particles settled into the deep sea and were absorbed by tiny crustaceans living in total darkness. It's a reminder that what we release into the atmosphere eventually finds its way everywhere. Some strawberries look like they've been edited wrong. White and yellow varieties exist naturally, and one type, the pine berry, tastes strikingly similar to pineapple. They look like reverse strawberries, but are completely real and fully edible. The word bra, used casually all over the world, actually comes from Hawaiian pidgin. It's a shortened form of brada, meaning brother. Surf culture helped spread it into the mainland, and from there it became part of everyday slang. More than half of Iceland's population reported believing in elves as recently as 1998, not as a joke, but as a sincere cultural belief. Iceland even has an elf school in Reykjavik dedicated to teaching the lore of hidden people known as Holdafolk. Women weren't officially allowed to run the Boston Marathon until 1972, but in 1967, Catherine Switzer entered under her initials, ran the entire race, and finished, even after an official tried to physically remove her mid-course. It took 5 more years for the rules to finally change. If you grill or roast watermelon, it transforms completely. The heat evaporates the water and compresses the texture, turning it into something dense, savory, and surprisingly meat-like. Some people even serve it as a plant-based steak. Dogs have been banned from Antarctica since 1994. The rule was created to prevent domestic dogs from spreading diseases like distemper to native seals. Even traditional sled dogs, once essential to exploration, are no longer allowed. There's a quirky pastime known as squirrel fishing. You tie a nut to a string, dangle it near a squirrel, and see how high you can lift it before it lets go. It's chaotic, oddly competitive, and yes, people actually organize events around it. In 2015, United Airlines faced major backlash after a passenger with cerebral palsy was forced to crawl off a plane because no one provided assistance. The crew stood by as it happened, and the incident became a widely discussed example of accessibility failures in air travel. Bluetooth technology is named after a real historical figure, King Harald Bluetooth of Denmark. He united various tribes under one kingdom, and engineers in the 1990s used his name as a metaphor for uniting different devices. The Bluetooth logo is literally his initials written in Norse runes. In Slovakia, a Christmas tradition involves buying a live carp and letting it swim in the family bathtub for days before the holiday meal. Kids often name it and treat it like a temporary pet until Christmas Eve arrives and the carp becomes dinner. Some woodpecker species have a surprisingly dark survival strategy. When food is extremely scarce, they may attack the nests of other birds, peck through the skull of nestlings, and eat their brains. It's rare, but it's a documented behavior in the wild. The United States has more millionaires than Sweden has people. As of May 2026, Sweden's population sits around 10 to 11 million, while the number of millionaires in the US more than doubles that. Amsterdam's Royal Palace stands on 13,657 wooden poles driven deep into the marshy ground. The city's soft soil required builders to anchor structures into the stable sand layer below. Those same wooden supports have held the palace up since the 1600s. The Washington National Cathedral features a grotesque carved in the likeness of Darth Vader. It was added after a children's design contest in the 1980s, and one kid submitted the Star Wars villain. It's technically a grotesque, not a gargoyle, because it doesn't channel water. In 2009, two nuclear submarines, one British and one French, collided deep in the Atlantic Ocean. Both were on silent patrol, both were designed to be undetectable, and neither knew the other was there. The ocean is enormous, yet these two stealth vessels managed to hit each other. Hawaii's state flag looks like a mashup of the US and British flags because it intentionally includes both. The Union Jack acknowledges historical ties to Britain, while the stripes represent the 8 major Hawaiian islands. It's the only US state flag to feature another nation's flag. Cheetahs have an unexpected favorite scent, Calvin Klein's obsession for men. Wildlife researchers used the cologne to lure cheetahs toward camera traps. Something in the fragrance, likely civetone, keeps them curious and lingering long enough for photos. There's a McDonald's in North Huntington, Pennsylvania that houses a full Big Mac museum. Inside is a 4.3 meter or 14-foot tall Big Mac statue built to celebrate the sandwich's 50th anniversary. People actually travel to see it. In American English, if you count numbers out loud, 1, 2, 3, and so on, you won't say a number containing the letter A until you reach 1,000. Malta, the Mediterranean island nation, has never recorded a temperature below freezing in its entire documented history. It's one of the warmest places in Europe year-round, making it a dream location for anyone who despises winter. Viking sagas mention a mysterious sunstone that could locate the sun even through clouds or fog. For centuries, it sounded mythical, but scientists have identified crystals like Iceland's spar that can polarize light and reveal the sun's position. One was even found on a shipwreck, suggesting the technology may have been real. There's enough gold buried in Earth's core that if we could somehow extract it and spread it evenly across the entire planet, the entire surface would be covered in a layer of gold reaching up to your knees. It's an impossible scenario, but the scale is mind-blowing. The largest leatherback turtles ever recorded weighed over 2,000 pounds, nearly a metric ton. These gentle giants roam the oceans with a size and presence that almost feels prehistoric, reminding us how massive marine life can truly get. If you've got a fact that deserves a spot in a future episode, drop it in the comments. If you want more mind-bending facts, check out the playlist linked on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.